Just write that on your dick.
Yeah, you win one baby.
Winning a baby's a big way to start a podcast, man. Alright, this is episode 8. Welcome, everyone. It's been 2 weeks.
I just checked the date there. The 28th of March is the last we know month.
Yikes, man. That's quite a while ago.
Yeah, we're fairly shy.
Fuck, yeah. I have a calendar here now. 28th of March. It's a long ass time ago, man. And this is the day. I haven't even crossed out yesterday, so.
I took your marker. Right, so we're back. We missed a little while, but...
Wait, actually, just quick anecdote. On my calendar here, I had a one night stand with this lack and she wrote her birthday on my calendar.
Oh, that's your woman, the Tinder one. Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember getting snaps mid-date. Not mid-intercourse, like, but mid-leading to intercourse. I knew it.
She was a Russian gymnast.
She was, I remember. She was a damn fine look.
Anyway,
nice.
what were you saying?
Can't remember. All I'm picturing is her now. Sure you are too.
I should probably count up the lacks I've had sex with, because if we are doing something special for number 10,
Yeah.
I don't know how far away that is. So
You can just check when is your next big one and be like, oh my god, I have to do something amazing.
or oh my god, I have to have sex with 9 more women.
We should do the business card thing actually.
Oh yes.
Imagine if we do that.
Speaking of having sex with women.
Oh, so I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast, have we?
Have we?
Oh, we did. We actually talked about it in the last episode. But
It was so long ago.
yeah. But we could do that, right? We could both make ones for each other, and then we could have like a second pack of like, after you finish with number 10, you give it like, congratulations, you are the winner of the 10th penis of Jake Dorn.
Like you leave it on her bedside table or something.
It's like staple it there.
Winner. Gotta go, man.
So yeah, we weren't around for the last 2 weeks. We're just busy as balls.
Final year college is heavy.
We talked so much smack about 3 episodes ago about how we will never miss a week. And we've done 2 in the last month.
Yeah, man, it's college is rough going, has to be said.
Yeah, like we'll get more consistent when we have like not college.
Yeah,
because like when we have a job or when we graduate or something like that, because I remember when I was working in summer or whatever, you do work time and then you're just done. I say it's just when you leave, you actually left. Like we were all joking today. I handed in my projects and our presentations today, so I actually wasn't super busy today for the first time ever. And I was talking to one of my friends. She was just saying, I can't believe being at home and it's still bright outside. Because I leave when it was dark and came home when it was dark for the last month.
And it's only starting to happen now because the sun's staying up later, so.
Yeah, and it was just today. It's just this one day we left a little bit early.
Man, it's pretty sad, isn't it?
Yeah, but like
I'm sure anyone who's listening now is actually in our year in physics and knows full well how much work we have to do.
Yeah.
So
but in the summer we'll be more consistent. Yeah. And then when we obviously move to London, we'll be able to get away from each other. So
yeah, and if you're listening and you're not in our course, I'm sure you have either been to college or are going to go to college, and it's going to be heavy for at least a little bit of it. So
yeah,
get ready for that.
It'll be really good.
And I started off this semester. I was like, I'm just going to work consistently, no problem. 4 years, so doable.
I'm very sure when you said it to me, and I went, load of cock. You know that's not going to happen, and you were like, yeah, probs. And did it happen?
No, it didn't happen.
Fact.
Okay, yeah.
But we were talking.
That happens every semester.
It was like we were talking about that earlier.
Everyone start.
This one specifically, because you had a very set goal. You know how much grades you have to get each, like a first or a second, and you can work it out before you go into this year. So I worked out that it was too hard to get a first, and I could very much coast to a second. So I was like, man, it's not going to go in most days.
Yeah, I kind of have to work a bit hard to get a 2-1. I need like 70% average or something, and in some stuff that's pretty hard.
Yeah,
but
we need a few gift exams now.
Hashtag physics. Yeah, I don't know, it's pretty rough, but like, you know, not much longer to go.
5 weeks yesterday to the day me and Jake both finished our final exam at the same time. And we're going to get
5 weeks yesterday. Oh, beautiful.
We're going to get so steamed.
I'm going to write in little letters on my calendar how many days left on each day.
It's the 17th.
It's 16th for finished last exam.
Is it?
Oh, sorry, 17th.
It's 17th, yeah.
I also have an exam today, but I'm working the night before. Beautiful.
Yeah, so when we finish up that, then we're just like free to do loads of cool shit and actually podcast every week consistently. Imagine like
Really good.
when it's just like me and you living in London. If we were like just we could easily do this twice a week. We could actually double the content.
Get nice mics.
There's so much cool shit. I don't. We're just both bags of shapes and doing nothing.
And all of our stories were way better as well, because it'd be like, hey, I was just out and I bought a fucking bought a lifeboat. What? Yeah, I thought I'd make a cool couch. What?
That's exactly the kind of stuff I want. Like, you've seen me with money. I do fun stuff when I have money. Like,
I do very unfun stuff when I don't have money. I'm just gonna huddle up and fucking eat rice.
Even when you get like cash injected, you make a spread.
Oh, just I don't know if you can hear it on the podcast. There's a lad just skating away. I called it way before. I saw that guy just wandering around. I looked and I was like, I know that lad skates. Then just about like a week and a half ago, saw him with a skateboard for the first time. I was like, fucking knew it.
You can tell though. You were a skater yourself. I've seen you shred. Is that what they say? So skate people say.
No,
I've never skateboarded in my life.
you should come skateboarding. Actually, it's good crack.
You saw me trying to skateboard the other day.
Yeah, but you need to wear like the right shoes for it.
Yeah, I was wearing like
because the shoes are all grippy for it. It's like skating on a bit of sandpaper. Your docks just ain't gonna handle it.
Still, I felt pretty swag on it.
We have a massive list and we haven't talked about any of it.
Actually, we got distracted by.
Can I jump straight to this?
Yeah, go for it, man. You may as well. Because the last time we just talked about was fucking bitches, so you may as well go for that. Actually, do you want to do this one first, just while we're on the catch?
Yeah.
Right, so while we're saying how shit we are, and we're like inconsistent at the moment, we're going to pause the challenges.
Yes.
And
not really specifically because Clearly failed both days, but just because.
Right.
Go on.
Like my first one is still going to be done.
How soon?
It was meant to happen yesterday, and I cancelled it.
Damn it! You cancelled it. Why did you cancel?
I cancelled it. She tried to rearrange for tomorrow, and I was like, "Nah, I'm going to be here to Dubai." So.
I want to hear all about this, lack.
No, I'll tell you later. Right? You go to what you were doing, but I'm saying right, the challenges are on pause now because the stuff that I know me anyway. The stuff I say in the challenges, the stuff I actually want to do. So I want to be able to actually do them. I don't want to be like, oh no, but too busy doing this assignment, I can't do it. And then I'm like, oh, I'm not going to do it now. Yeah. I'd rather wait until the summer and actually put proper effort into it and do them right. Like, so we pause them till after exams.
That'll be good.
Yes, we'll have one done each day.
Like summertime, you could probably do a challenge a week each.
Easy.
Just stupid shit.
That would be just fun as well. Like you could actually
just come up with stupid shit to do. Take pictures of it.
Yeah.
But speaking of the challenges, Clunes was a date, right? The first one.
Yeah.
And we were talking about my date last time, so we're just gonna segue really quickly into that.
Did we talk about your date in the last episode?
We were talking about asking girls out. So I asked a girl.
Oh yeah, you had asked her, and we were talking about how you asked her out, and you were going on the date that night, the first time.
Was it?
I think so, yeah.
Or was it the following day or something? Probably.
It could be. I just go for different.
But yeah, it was absolute banter. We've been on 2 since. We went to the same place, and I was really cute. She was really impressed.
How did you know she was really impressed, Jake?
She said the words, "I'm impressed. You're good on these dates," or those are some good dates, or something like that.
Nice.
And she let me kiss her and stuff. So.
Oh. Snake, I didn't get that information yet now. But that's what actually Hando told me, so I knew I should get out of DM.
Hando was the first person to ask. He's straight in there with that knowledge.
Oh yeah, no messing.
I don't know how serious he is, but I feel like I might have slightly stolen this woman from him.
He was into it.
He was really into it, yeah. But the second date we went to was like full of hype. Was I telling you about this? I probably haven't told you about this, but
you didn't give me detail. I know what the date was.
But it was James Vincent McMorrow was playing in Ruby Sessions in Doyle's, and the Ruby Sessions runs every Tuesday, so it's kind of like this regular thing, and usually it's like kind of small, but the acts are really good. They're like their first kind of coming up gig, like they're going to be big kind of thing. And like Hosier's played it, Ed Sheeran's played it, Paolo Nutini's played it, like people who are big or who got big after it and stuff. So James Vincent McMorrow had this new album and he wanted to release it. And we were there the week before, and we ended up chatting up your man who MCs the thing.
You're so
It's
friendly.
great banter. His name's Connor, and we were just like chatting him up after, like trying to get it out of him who it was. Turns out it was James Vincent McMorrow, and he was like, "Oh man, I love people who come to the quiet nights. You should give me a text when you're here next week, and I'll let you in or whatever. Give me your wristbands, you can get up early." And when we arrived at like 8:30, thing starts at 9. There was a line of like, I'd say more than 1,000 people outside, like running down the road.
Fuck.
And we got inside and we met one of the, like a guy, a mutual friend of ours. I knew him from college from somewhere.
Who's that?
His name's Connor Keane. Do you know?
Yeah.
He's a nice guy, but
Probably shit.
he actually is really sound. but we met him and he'd been in the queue since like 5 p.m. or something.
Oh.
He'd been queuing for like 4 hours.
And what did he hate you just strolling past him?
But see, we strutted in and we got a real nice couch in the corner, and then we like saved him a seat there. So
Alright.
so he wasn't too pissed. But man, it was such a good gig. And there was a lad before him playing. He was from New York. He was class as well.
Oh, you were telling me that.
So good. Like your man's gonna be huge, and James Vincent McMorrow is huge, and his next album's gonna be really good. So
I didn't want
kind of
to
like Irish Bon Iver vibes. It's really good.
I don't know who he is either.
You must know Bon Iver. Bon Iver.
I know the name, but I've never, like, I don't know any of the tunes. Because I remember going, I think it's St. He was like, yeah, that Bon Iver thing, and you were like, Bon Iver. And I was like, alright man, give me this.
Do you know the song Skinny Love? Come on, Skinny Love.
That's Birdie in that.
The year. No, she covered it.
No, I know the Birdie one. That's a good tune.
Yeah, it's a good tune.
I like it.
Yeah, so that was class.
So,
Connor.
when is day 3?
Day 3, I actually have a real cute plan.
Oh,
but I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Hit me up, come on. She's not going to listen to this. Well, probably not. Did you tell her you do a podcast?
No, but
How much did you talk about me in your today?
I talked about you quite a bit actually.
Oh, really?
I talk about you all the time anyway.
I know, yeah. How class.
And you always ask me because you know I do.
Yeah, I know. He came back from his first date and I was like, how many times did you talk about me? He was like, about 5 or 6. I was like, yeah, you did.
Yeah, because I was like, oh yeah, my mate Clunes made this. No, maybe my mate Clunes are doing this. Oh, Clunes really likes them. Oh, Clunes does that.
It's been doing fun shit.
Yeah.
What? No, what time is our day? I'm actually eating so many carrots now. I'm loving these.
Oh yeah, because you couldn't eat carrots on the last one because they were full carrots, but I sliced these bad boys up so you can kind of hide the.
We're so
sound of
healthy.
them. We're also got a thing of chocolate biscuits as well.
Man, don't tell him.
And I ate a brick of cheese before this thing started as well. Whew. But
Third day, come on, hit me up.
alright, well I don't have the cute plan isn't for the third date. Well, necessarily, like we'll just go for drinks or something. But no man, I can't tell you. That's too sappy. Anyway, let's get on to something else.
You just didn't know if the boys are just going to absolutely wreck your face.
Any of the boys who hear this.
Speaking of getting absolutely wrecked by the boys for being too cute, how much did Tom get mugged off that picture yesterday?
I thought that was generally
It was cute, but the minute I saw it, I was like, well, oh my god, I'm telling everyone about this. Someone was going through Tom's wallet, and they found a picture of him and his girlfriend like pulling a pose on the couch. He had like an actual photo picture in his wallet.
But now, if they're going out a year, that's a bit weird. They're going out like 17 years.
They were going out about 7 years, and she spent a year in China, which they stayed together while she was in China, and he got the picture for then. As he said, he was like, "You should be in China, man."
So that is, I'm calling that straight cute.
Oh, it was straight. It was straight cute. Like, if it was just me and Tom there, and I would have been like, "Yeah, it's grand." But the fact there was other people there, that I know would help me mug him off. I'm like, "Yeah, Tom, throwing you under the bus here. Let's go."
Yeah, it's like find that in Kev's wallet. That's absolutely mugging off. Find it in Tom's wallet.
Well, Kev can't have it because his lack's not real.
Oh, true. Yeah. So a picture, just a blank piece of paper in his wallet.
That just says, "I don't believe in Facebook" on it.
Yeah, well, so say Moon had one of Simon in her purse, wallet, whatever.
What? Purse.
That's cute as anything, because that's legit. They're basically married, just like Tom and Ashley. But anyone else, call them weird on that.
We were talking about after we found that picture. I was like, "I hear Tom. When are you getting the finger out and just getting married to this woman or what?"
He was like, "Yeah, next week."
He was. he didn't go like, "Oh no." He was like, "Yeah, maybe."
Yeah.
So then we started talking about stag do's, and we were like, "How good is it going to be?" Because we're finishing 5 weeks' time. We're going to separate a bit, but we're trying to keep contact as much as we can because we're all bands or whatever.
Yeah, but we won't get as many big sessions.
Yeah, and we were like, right, we were saying Tom Stagg. He was like, I'm going to Amsterdam straight away. And I was like, I'm going to turn into a mushroom if we go to Amsterdam.
We'll all go on the plane over for Tom Stagg, dressed as mushrooms.
And just smoke weed. But we get so mangled.
Has to be like 2 weeks, is that?
Oh yeah, it's a month off.
We just rent a gaff for 2 weeks in Amsterdam or something.
But we're saying like we'll all be getting so mangled for that. And I said it's a shame as well. You want to cop yourself onto it, which will lack forever, like.
Yeah.
And then
how long is it? How long are they together actually?
I don't know, forever.
Forever in the day.
But we started mugging off Hando then. We're like, well, Hando's one's gonna be last. And he was there, like, and he was like, yeah, I'll be like 75. I'll just buy some 18-year-old want to marry. And we were like, here, best thing ever. We'll all be like widows in like Amsterdam, grinding some 18-year-old one, doing like a line of coke off a titty and everything. Like, what an absolute sesh that's gonna be.
Man, actually, we were thinking about this. I was like, man, your man Benny was talking about being 92 and being a TP, and he was saying like, oh, if you want to grow old, be a TP because they're all like fucking ancient owl lads. But like our generation now, we're gonna definitely live to like 110,
28,
120. So means, well, yeah, you're obviously gonna.
I told you I'm gonna die 28.
You're gonna Jimi Hendrix plus one the thing, but
yeah. I'm gonna die 28 just out of spite.
Out of spite for Kurt Cobain, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix.
I'm gonna start my own club. The 28 club.
Yeah, as population gets older. It's now the 34 club.
Yeah, musicians are just brown bread at 34 now. Justin Bieber's gonna be absolutely.
And it's not heroin, it's like a weird new drug.
2CP.
Yeah.
2CP.
Yeah, scary shit, man.
Can we talk about drugs on the podcast?
Absolutely.
Can we talk about doing drugs on the podcast?
Well, we just talked about doing truffles and.
Yeah, everyone does shrooms, like.
Yeah, we were just talking about LSD a minute ago.
Yeah.
Which both of us would like to try.
Well, I'm a very strong champion of I'll try any drug once. We've spoke about this before about doing the casual meth and the casual heroin.
No.
On like episode 1 or 2.
As in, you want to do them and you're an idiot. Look at your man, skate. Look how much of a skater.
Skateboarder just skated back, as you can probably hear.
Wait, listen. Do a kickflip.
Stop moving, man. Eat a dick. Nah, hang on, we're just recording ourselves shouting at strangers.
Wait, he's mugging off some other lad's deck.
Somebody else looking at the window. We're live, man, come on. Get your act together here, be professional.
It's John Filet. Let's wave at him on the podcast.
Who's your woman?
She's obviously locked out of her room, man.
Oh. And then we're just describing what's outside the window. Get back to this, man, come on.
Best episode of all time.
We can do a whole episode from a window, like, right now there's nothing going on. And then someone passed, like, oh my god, someone passed. It's John Filet.
Oh, did you see how high that guy kicked that football?
Yeah, they're trying to kick it over the bar though. Stop it.
I love it because you don't want to be distracted, but you're so easily distracted.
Yeah, no, stop it. If I'm trying to hold this thing together now, it's a bad sign. Get your act together.
Oh, look over.
We're back to the drugs thing. We were talking about I was talking about the lads like doing drugs once, and Tom was saying you should get like this company. It's called like Deathbed Heroine. Like for people on the deathbed are like, I think I want to try some heroin. You just rock up with a needle and like pop, have that.
Woo, dead.
Yeah, but like you're gonna be brown bed anyway, so you may as well die.
I think. Cool. Yeah, sure, a bit of heroin, I guess. Actually, do you know what you do, right? Because I was trying to factor into the heroin plan. Also, have you ever heard of a mega ramp? The mega ramp, it's called?
No.
It's like this skateboard ramp that's like maybe five stories tall, maybe more.
There's John Foley again.
Stop pointing out the window. So you're 5 stories up and you go down a ramp that launches you over a massive thing the size of a building. You jump over this massive gap and then it goes a vert ramp, so you go straight up.
Yeah.
But what you do is you get the one that just launches you and then you just launch yourself like off a fucking cliff or something. You just mangle yourself.
Yeah, like I don't like dying. The idea of dying on someone else's terms. I'm like, if I'm like, you have 10 minutes to live, I'm going to kill myself to 9. Be like, yeah, fuck you, 1.
How are you gonna? Yeah, oh man! Imagine coming away to kill yourself in 9 minutes. Surely the first few are gonna fail.
I mean, you just ramp off a cliff, obviously.
You have to build a ramp. You have 9 minutes to kill yourself. How are you gonna do that efficiently and effectively? Painlessly.
Just an example. I'll surely give me at least a day.
Man, you have 10 minutes to live.
It's just like
out your eye.
Yeah.
And then you're just blind and in pain.
Yeah, like, oh no, worst 10 minutes of my life. Right. So we were talking all these drug jokes, and I got onto this story. I was like, "Here, boys, did I ever tell you I got the time I got yipped up with me nanny?"
Did it actually happen?
Yeah. So I was trying to tell the story, and the lads were like, "No way, how did this happen?" So right, I went out one night, out in Waterford, session away, bought some drugs, took some drugs, and then something happened. I think one of my mates got in a row or something. So we had to leave straight away. So it hadn't dropped yet. It hadn't hit, although I dropped it, but it hasn't hit me yet. So I'm like, alright, it's grand. I was like, I kind of forgot about it. I was like, that's not really kicking in much. It's grand. Got a taxi home. Got in because I was staying in my nanny's house because I was in Watford at the time. Got into the house. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. She's still awake. So I'm like, oh, what's up? So I'm in touch. She's sitting there chatting away. Something's not happening. So she's awake. She's chatting away to me. So I sit down on the couch, just chatting away for a while, and then it drops.
Oh man!
So I'm there, and you know the point where you're like chatting away, and then your mouth just closes up, and you're like, oh no. So I'm sitting there, my nanny's like spinning her heart and soul to me, and I'm sitting there on the couch, like half cut because I was out drinking for the whole night. Now I'm yipped. So I'm like, oh my god, she can't notice. Oh my god, I'm on drugs. So I'm sitting there like, on my nanny's setting, she's making me tea, and I'm like shaking out and freaking the fuck out. And I'm like, oh my god, I can't do this. Sit on my hands. And I'm like there staring at her as she's talking, and I'm just like staring at her, just in my own head going, don't, I'm weird, don't blink, I'm just like freaking the fuck out, going, if she notices I'm dead, I'm absolutely dead. And then I'm doing all this, and I'm like just trying to maintain not freaking out. And do you know the way when you're on drugs you have to drink a load of water so you don't cramp up?
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't doing that, cramped up. So I'm sitting there like it's like 4 o'clock in the morning at this stage, massive cramp in my calf. I just go, oh fuck! Just like jump up. It's chilling me nanny sitting there. She's there like drinking tea, chatting around the dressing gown. And I'm like, oh, me leg. And I'm like jumping around me nanny's here. I'm like 17. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna die. And I'm like doing stretching and crouching around trying to fix my leg. And she just keeps talking. And I'm like, on there, I'm just rubbing me calf, just chatting out. I'm like, doing your hands just always want to keep moving when you're drugged up. So I'm just like really rubbing my calf at that, just like chatting away to her. And then I was just like, right, it's time to go. So I was like, oh no, I'm going to go to bed now, I'm kind of tired. Just laid in the bed, just wide open for about 2 hours. Just like, oh my god. She must have noticed.
Only 2 hours, man. I was expecting 5 more hours.
I was just like, oh my god, how am I doing this? It's such a weird story. I was like, oh.
Would you get yipped up with your nan though?
Not that nanny, get used to my other nanny.
Would you?
That's how good, she'd love that.
Tom, I came into the library the other day and we were talking about truffles in Amsterdam and stuff. And Tom goes,
it's a very Tom heavy episode.
Shout out to Tom.
Fuck Tom.
Tom goes, yeah, told my mum I took truffles in Amsterdam. First thing she said was, how are they? And I was like, absolute banter. And he was like, yeah. And then Molly goes, why were you talking to your mum about that? And he goes, I don't know, banter. I was like, alright Tom, nice one.
Would you say your mother and father you took shrooms?
Yeah.
Because they're not bad.
My parents are just totally cool. Probably tell me taking it and like.
Which then we got coked up last weekend.
Not coked up, but like you do it tactfully as well. You just go like, I've tried that before. You don't go, yeah, fucking went mental.
If your mother goes, Jake, have you ever snorted a drug? Would you go, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh no.
You wouldn't?
I might, but I might not. Like, people in Dodge would be like, nah. Because
we only have one jar, do you want some?
No, I buy with this. But it's because my parents are like, I think they're just expecting me to freak out sometime. They're just always on edge that I'm just gonna just lose it.
Really?
Yeah, they're all.
Are you gonna lose this now?
Maybe, yeah. But
usually parents know best, man.
So they always check up on me. They're always like, where are you? And I'm like, are you alive? And I'm like, I would say I don't really go home much and stuff like that, so I'm just like disappear for days at a time. And like I could be anywhere when they ring me, like.
Yeah, fair enough.
And it's always if I was like whenever I got in a fight or something like that, and I come home with like a mark on me or something like that, I was like, what the fuck am I fighting out? And all this kind of stuff. I'm like, from Jan, man. But I think I was like, yeah, I took all that cocaine one time, and Dave would just be so freaked out. I'm sure they probably done it, like. But I mean, they'd be so paranoid that I did. They were like, I wonder what else he's doing kind of thing. It would just it'd freak him out too much, I think.
I think I've thought about parenting before, and like, oh man, that's gotta be scary shit, because you can kind of, like, everything that you're worried about happening to them, you're also like extra worried, because there's some sort of, it seems like there's some sort of built-in like parent worrying thing.
Yeah,
it's like
every parent's worried.
It's like a drug that they must release when you have kids, is in your brain, that you just worry more because you want to keep your child alive, surely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, you've done it and you know what the crack is, but then your mind starts to wander and you're like, oh, what if they're like, take cocaine, and then it's like weird cocaine, and then you fucking jump off a building, and like, all that shit goes through your head. But like, if you were like open and chill with your child about it, like, I'd happily tell my parents, and they'd be like, oh no, would you be going too far? And I'm like, no, like, I mean, I'd tell you if it was, like, I mean, we're kind of like, I don't know.
But like, do you remember the time we went out and me and you stayed in stairs up in the attic, and my mother was banging on the door at like 4:30 in the day, because the night your woman took all the drugs and died.
Yes.
And then I just went missing for a day that day. And she's like banging down my mate's door and looking for me, and I went downstairs in just like tiny underpants.
I remember those underwear, man.
And I was just like, yeah, I'm alive. I just walked out. I could have been topless, possibly I don't, but I was just in underpants. Just walked like down the drive in my mate's house, and just like leaning in the car, and mother was like, yeah, I'm alive, I'll see you tomorrow. So I went back to bed.
Yeah, I don't think I moved from the bed at that point. I was like, no, you'll be back.
Well, we went to bed at like 11 o'clock in the morning. This was like 4, and we're just like, oh. That was the night we ended up in the gay rave.
Nah, that was a serious night.
No, if you weren't as mangled that night, it would have been so good.
Oh yeah.
We were just not totally given buzz that night.
We have loads of shit left to talk about on this.
Yeah.
Why have you got Birmingham on this list?
I don't know, it's just real. There was a load of stuff, just in case you didn't have stuff.
Birmingham. One John Lees. One from Birmingham.
Talk about this. Wow.
Oh, worst thing ever. I felt so bad.
Just before we started the podcast, we were with Jace and Katie there, and I was looking at it. I was like, what's up with your phone there? He's like, I don't know. And Jake's like, I'll tell you there.
Alright, so she was over and she plugged her phone in. It was dying or whatever. And she plugged it in right beside the table, put it on the chair. So there's this cable hanging, just like dangling across the two. And I was sitting beside it, so it's down there, I couldn't see it. And I stood up and caught my foot on the cable. The iPhone 6 whips off the chair, smashed on the ground, and I picked it up. She goes, is it broken? I was like, it's broken. And she was like, oh, okay. I was like, no, it's actually broken. And she goes, fuck, you're not joking? And then I had this moment of freak out, and I felt so bad. It's the worst feeling ever. And she has this case on it, but the case doesn't cover the screen, and obviously it fell right onto the screen. But I was like, absolutely paying for this. I felt so bad for ages. And then the very next day, she's outside her apartment building, and she's holding the door for some young one, and this young one has like a bag of groceries, like cradling it, and she also has her phone like in there somewhere, and Katie holds the door for her, and because she's a little bit away, she starts to kind of like jog or whatever, and your one starts to jog, and her phone slipped onto the concrete, shattered the screen, iPhone as well, and then Katie's like, oh, sorry, and then they get in the lift, and your one's just standing there with the phone like cracked. Katie's like, oh, awkward.
So, how was your day?
Oh man.
Okay.
Well, I felt so bad.
Yeah, like, whenever that happens, and it's just a complete accident, there's nothing you could have done about it. You're like, oh, I feel so bad. I remember breaking David's glasses before.
Oh man.
I remember I threw a ball, threw it behind me back like that, and it just went straight up, just hit him in the face, and he's like 6'8", so that's a big fall for glasses. They hit ground, broke, and I was just like, oh my god.
Oh, that's the worst.
You're just the biggest dickhead ever, and you're like, oh.
And the worst is, they go like, oh, it's fine, no, it's like, no, it's alright.
Because they know it's an accident as well, so they're like, oh, I'm not going to go freak out, and I'm like, oh.
Oh, you feel so bad.
Yeah.
It's like when you step on your pet's tail. That's exactly what it felt like. You ever stepped on like a dog's tail, and the dog's like absolutely loving you, and stepping his tail, and it's like sulky, and you're like, no, no, that was an accident.
Come back and love me. No,
I'm so sorry. And then you like smother it to death with hugs and shit.
Don't kill your dog, man.
I know how many dogs left, man.
Speaking of dogs, went to Watford last weekend for my mate's 21st. So we all drinking away and a good laugh. I started drinking like 3 hours before the lads because I had my final year project due on Monday. Hadn't started writing it up yet, and this is like midday Friday. I'm like, well, I'm in Watford now. I'm not going to do anything for the next 2 days, so I'm making the most of this now. So I just started drinking at like 4 o'clock in the day. The lads were like just kind of finishing up college. So we're coming home, just chatting, having a cup of tea, and I'm just there with a pint, just drinking all day. Like got mangled, but I was just so wrecked 'cause we were doing so many hours and stuff like that. I was just kind of tired. So I went to the session, went back to his house, then had an absolute raw singing tunes, everything's going great, like really good laugh. I looked at my mate who's 21st, I'm like, I haven't seen him in a little while. Wonder where he is, can I wander around his house and find him? He's out his back garden, right, on all fours, puking onto the ground. And I'm like, are you alright? One of our other mates are there just holding the dog. I'm like, what's up with that? And he's like, the dog wants to try and eat the vomit. So my mate is holding this dog back, and the other mate's on the ground puking. He looks at me, he's like, you're a good friend, man. Holding it, and the dog is massive as well, trying to get, and your man is scrawny, holding this massive dog back, trying to eat his puke. And I just puke onto the ground. And I come out on it, because I'm kind of after sober up underneath this. It's about 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm just kind of like, I'm just going to bed now. So I'm there, and there's like a bucket of water outside for fag butts. And he's like, my mate's on the ground, he's like, yeah. Can you like get rid of this vomit with that bucket? So the dog just, I'm like, yeah, no bother, move. And he's like, flick all this fag butty water all over the vomit. And I'm like, I'm going to bed, see you in the morning. Went down, he kept going for about another 3 hours. He sobered up and he kept puking again, like. I woke him up
I have to come to one of them sessions, like.
So I stayed in his house that night. I woke up at like 11 o'clock or something. I went to wake him up, no sign, just like dead. Went down, had breakfast in his house, went back upstairs, probably wake him up again, just dead. So I was like, just get in the shape. I'm like, I'm heading off now, right? And he, alright. Went off, I was doing grinds with me, cousin or something like that. And then he rings me, he was like, because this was Friday night, so Saturday night, my man Auntie Joshua was fighting. Do you know the English fella?
The boxing lad, yeah.
So like, we go watch that fight and I'll come collect you at about 5:30. And I was like, you're never going to be legal to drive at 5:30. And he's like, yeah, we'll be grand. So you're right, he collects me, just tears in his eyes. I'm like, you alright, mate? He was like, yeah, I'm grand. He's that hungover, it's like his face is like squished together and it's just like tears constantly in his eyes, massive red head on him. And we're driving out the road to my mate's house. We get about halfway there and he's like, oh, I'm not feeling well, I'm gonna have to pull in. I'm like, you alright? And he's like, yeah, I get pins and needles in my face. I'm like, oh, I've never heard that before. And he was like, oh, I think I'm having a heart attack. Pulls in outside this really posh tennis club, gets out of the car and just stands outside the car for 10 minutes. So I'm in the absolute stitches laughing at this creature. And he's just leaned up against the car, pins and needles on his face. And I'm like, you what about it? And he was like, yeah. He was like holding his stomach going, I think I'm having a heart attack in my stomach. His stomach's just freaking out. And he was like, how do you get rid of pins and needles? I was like, you have to get the blood flowing on that. So he starts like gurning to get the blood flowing in his face. He's like, side of this road. He's just outside the posh tennis club, gurning, tears in his eyes, and I'm just there on the ground laughing at him like you are the biggest creature of all time.
Oh, that sounds so good.
Oh, you have to go down and get a serious session. Tomorrow's going to be a serious session.
Yeah, actually, tomorrow should be a pretty good session.
We were talking about this 2 weeks ago, but like we were trying to arrange this thing, and like
yeah, and it has been arranged, and it is tomorrow.
So tomorrow we're going playing football, finishing up, getting all showers and stuff like that, getting all dogged, going back to the library,
drinking / doing a bit of work probably because we're all so sad, and taking turns playing FIFA.
So we're going to have FIFA up on the big projector, cans, almost certainly ordering spice bags.
Yeah, absolutely, spice bags, probably throwing a few UFC's fights,
yeah,
and then heading out for a bit probably.
Yeah, probably into the bar, into Flannery's, into Coppers. Same as the last night.
Good God. Casino.
Oh, straight to the casino. You're definitely going out the whole night tomorrow?
Yeah.
Can I stay here?
Yeah.
Right, cool. So we usually I come back here then. Class. So I have to teach a class on Friday morning.
Oh, that's the worst thing ever.
See, I was teaching Jack for last night.
Oh yeah. He came in, he goes,
this is Jake's roommate in first year, and I covered one of the other lads' labs, and he was in it. And I was like, "Oh, Jack, was crack."
Yeah, Jack was like, "Yeah, I was one of the first ones in there," and I walked in and just stopped and was like, "Sean," and you were like, "Jack," and then he was like, "Yeah, Jake's shit."
Absolutely.
Yeah, basically. We'll probably cross the shit off, man.
Yeah, I'm doing a little tic-tac while we're done. So, right, this
2M night.
Yeah, that was tomorrow night, so we already got into that. Right, talk about this. This is Jake's life for the next...
Procrastination is
2/3 weeks. When's she due? 32 weeks?
29th of April, man.
Is that Friday? That's Friday 2 weeks, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So that's 16 days. Sorry to put a number on for there, Jay.
16 is not a lot of days. Have to write like 15 pages of top quality, like absolute lies. And then, so we'll see how that goes. But I see, I woke up and I was making an omelette in one, and YouTube suggested this TED Talk to me. It was like, procrastination. I was like, oh yeah, probably should learn how to not do that. So I was watching it, and your man's like, he was like describing like the way his brain works now. And he's like, oh, fucking, it's actually exactly how your brain works. He was like, yeah, so I had this massive fucking thesis to write, and they gave me like 3 months to do it. And he was like, yeah, so it'll be really easy. He's like, I'll like start off here, a little bit of work for the first month, then I'll ramp it up for the second month, and then I'll ramp it up a bit more for the third month, and then that's all the work. And then a month passed, so I went to plan B, which was this. He just added a bit more work to the second 2 months. And then another month passed, and he's like, alright, I have to do all the work in the third month. And then half the month passed, and he was like, I have to do all the work. Then 3 nights before, he's like, haven't even done a tap. Right, so he stays awake for 72 straight hours and does his whole thing, handed it in, and he gets a call the next morning, and they're like, we just got your thesis, and it's one of the best we've ever read. And he's like, that didn't actually happen, it was awful. But he's like, but the thing is, I could only do it when I had no time left to do it. So he's like, I constantly, like, just distracted by absolutely anything. Like yesterday, we were looking up some stupid stats about, like, fucking population densities today. I was just like, man, someone said Calcutta, and I was like, oh yeah, that's called Kolkata now, I think. When we looked that up, I was like, oh yeah, it is Kolkata. Oh look, there's the population density. It's pretty dense. Then we were like, oh, it's 40,000. Then we worked out how much that is per person. Turns out it's like 41 square meters per person, including roads and everything in a city. That's pretty tiny. Then we looked up the most populated city, which is actually Manila in Philippines, where each person has 20 square meters. And that's including every square meter of the whole city. They have 20 per person. That's insane. Anyway, so stupid shit like that is what you spend your time looking up until just before everything is due, and then it kicks into gear and you just feel like an idiot. So he was like, he was explaining all this, and he's like, there's like this panic that kicks in your brain that stops all that Wikipedia shit, and you just go ape shit and you do all your work. And that works for most people. Like, if you get your shit done, you get your shit done. But then he's like, there's some things in life that there's no deadline for. You know what I mean? Oh, I want to try this new hobby. Oh, I want to go, I want to go ask that girl out. There's no deadline on those things. Those are just things that you kind of want to do. So he was like, he goes, here, I'll give you a deadline. And he brings up like this grid of squares on the projector. He's like, this is all the days in the average human life. And I was like, oh shit. He's like, yeah, and like if you're watching this, you're probably at least like 20 something. So it knocks off all them days. And he's like, lots of things you can't do once you're like 90, so knock them days off. And he's like, yeah, that's how many days you got left. Here's your deadline, it is your death. And then he just ended it. I was just like, oh shit. But when it, oh man, pretty women.
There's a ball on, obviously, because people just came out in dress gowns and suits.
To be fair, your one is very pretty.
White dress?
I was talking about the one-sided, but yeah.
I can't really see the one-sided. I can't see her, the white dress one either. I can see the back of her head.
Well, just
I'll stop describing the window, actually. Just pull that blind down, man.
I probably should.
You can definitely hear that blind going down. So even though we're not spoofing, we actually just pull the blind down.
What were we talking about?
Procrastination.
Oh yeah, and I was left after that podcast like, that didn't help me at all. That just made me sad.
Now I've wasted another 15 minutes and I'm sad. The way my work kind of goes is, the minute I get something, I'll try it. So I'll be like, you have 3 months to do this. The first day, I'll start doing it. Mm-hmm. And I'll go, like, cause let's say with my project, I had a month to do it, 2 weeks of which were in Tenerife. While I was there, I was doing nothing, got a load of work done. I came back with more work undone than anyone. Mm-hmm. Because I had them codes from the summer, so that's why I had a lot of that shit done. Yeah. Came back and I was like, right, I'm taking a couple of days off or whatever. Took 3 days off, and then went to start to write up. because I haven't analysed the stuff yet, so I didn't start writing up. Done 400 words like the first day.
Yeah.
I only need to be about 410, so like 1/10 in the first day. I'm like, man, it's so easy.
Yeah.
Like I can actually write about all this stuff because I know about it. This is grand. Just done nothing for 2 weeks then.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, every day I was like, I should probably start now. I'm like, it's easy, I'll catch up. And I've done it the whole way, and then I was like, right, you have 5 days left, 2 of which you'd be drunk for. So I'm like, right, I have 3 days to do it now. Just slap through it, and I was like, got all of the actual data done. And then I was like, oh fuck, I have to write this up. And then I got to the day where I had like, I could go to Watford now, or I could go to Watford in 6 hours, where I'd be like relaxed. If I go now, I'd be relaxed. Otherwise, I'd be rushing. But if I'd be rushing, I'd have some lab report on, and I could try and get the whole thing done. And I was like, fuck it, man, just going to Watford.
Nobody actually just made that joke about being Russian, like the nationality.
Yeah,
he just made that joke in his head.
Well, he has to.
I know he did, but he's listening, and this is freaking him out.
Oh yeah, how mugged up is he now?
We're so on to you, Artie.
He does it every time, but it's so annoying. I'm like, first time I heard it. That's much of a joke like I'll ever give that joke. I'm moderate.
Like, how mugged off is he that he thought of that joke? Yeah. We call him out, and then we're mugging off his joke for a solid minute.
Right. If I was to write this on like a phone, it would be a H-A-H.
H-E-H.
It's such a mugging off.
Every time after that, no response. Ignored.
He got like a just a H. It's just an exhale.
It's an exhale with like a little bit of effort put in.
Yeah, barely. But that Sunday when I came back, so I was out Saturday night watching that fight, and then finished up, got home at like 3 o'clock in the morning, set my alarm for 7, got up at 7, got dressed, snuck out my nanny's house because they were obviously still asleep, so I didn't say goodbye. I left them a note. I wrote my cute little note. Snuck it. Walked out with all me gear for the weekend, lashing rain out. Half an hour walk to the train station. Just walked all the way to the train station. Got on the train like dripping wet. Fell asleep to catch up on some hours. So I got like 4 hours sleep there, maybe an hour and a half on the train. So I'm not going to go 5.5 hours sleep.
That's pretty solid.
Pretty solid.
That's like twice what Adrian Robu gets every night. So
yeah, he's insane.
Fair enough. Go on.
But got into college. Worked out. I had like 10 hours to do like 15 pages of a report. Just sat down, absolutely ate away at it. The UFC was on at the same time. I split screened the screen, so I had the UFC on half the screen, and I lab reported in the other side. Got 10 pages done in that night.
On a scale of 1 to 10, quality wise, what were those pages?
Pretty alright.
Really?
Antonio said he would do it pretty good, yeah.
But that's because you had extra time to edit them. Sure.
With that, I done an extra topic. I put an extra bit in the report instead of going over stuff I'd already done.
I actually hate going over stuff I've already done. I'm really bad at that.
I reread it, and the stuff was alright. It was pretty decent, but it was like a load of mistakes in it. But I just fixed the mistakes and left the general gist of it. Was that like I actually do alright work on the last minute kind of thing.
But how easy is it to procrastinate? Like
so easy.
Like just thinking about procrastination, how often it happens. You just have to like
that day that video that I done. I done a Snapchat video from the room I was doing the thing in.
Oh yeah.
And after 3 hours of doing it, I was like 3 or 4 pages in. I was like, right, I'm going to take half an hour now to go do a funny Snapchat video.
It generally took half an hour, and he was throwing a piece of paper over the back of his head without looking into a bin. And I mean, I wasn't there, but you said it took you
about 50 goes. Yeah,
50 goes.
We recorded every one until it went in, and I was like, oh my god, it's messing up. I put it up on my story. A couple of people wrote to me like, how many times did that take? Yeah, I was like, about 50. And then I went onto Facebook, wrote to Jake a messenger, look at my story, and then he was like, I'm gonna take it like about 50 goes, and he was like, alright, cool. Just no reaction. I was like expecting, oh my god, you were a wizard, you were the new Steph Curry from out backwards over your head shots.
That was your third try maybe, but if you didn't have 6,000 words to write and no time to do it.
That's me. I just got distracted. I was like, I could definitely get this thing over my head on video. Like, just done.
How did that take you 50 tries, man?
Because it's hard, it took me a few. Maybe not 50.
It feels like a long time when you have to set up your Snapchat.
You have to record it, and then you throw it again, and he goes, oh no. Then you have to get up, walk over to the bin, pick it back up, set up your Snapchat again. And I got it real close one time, close enough that I would have sent it, but I wasn't looking good in the Snapchat, so I did. So you have to maintain looking pretty alright as well, because you have to get your face in there, like. You know,
you filtered it as well, didn't you?
No, I
Did you? There's good light in that room, man.
there is good light in that room.
Good selfie light in that room.
I sit over by the window and I send selfies all day on that. So I know there's days and night there. Oh, I'm looking at my Mae West over in that corner.
Why do you actually have Birmingham? Oh, let's talk about the Beatles.
Yeah.
We came in and I was making grub.
Before, no, I want to talk, just mention this one. Actually, no, sorry, he's going to be
Connor.
Yeah, midway through doing that report in the room that time, get a phone call. Your auntie had just had a baby.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's very cool. We're going to see you now. You coming? I was like, I've like 10 hours to do this thing. It'll take me an hour and a half to go and see this baby. I was like, oh fuck, I have to go see the baby. But then I was like, oh, look at this in your face.
That's cute as hell.
Yeah.
Haven't seen a proper newborn baby in forever.
The last time I saw him was his older brother, who was now like
bones all soft and
yeah,
stuff.
like 2.
You could like press their skull with your hands and just like mold it.
Yeah,
It's gross.
so weird.
Also, do you know they have a hole in the back of their head there? Like before their skull closes up. Their skull has like this hole in it so it can kind of move a bit when it's coming out, and then you have to like cradle their heads while the skull hardens and grows closed over the hole. But you can like touch brain.
Oh, that's so wrong.
Yeah, it's so gross. Little babies are so gross, man.
You gonna have a little baby?
Hopefully not.
I saw. You know, I'm mad to have a baby.
You're like proper Cristiano Ronaldo, man.
Well, absolutely. I would love to have just get no mother, just have a little kid.
See, I know that I would enjoy having a kid if I had one, but I also know I'd enjoy all the money that would come with not having a kid. Like, I'd go on loads of adventures and all my mates with kids, I'd be like, oh, you free? And they're like, yeah, I'm free 1 weekend a month. And I'm like, sweet, I'm always free, so yeah, I'll be free then. And I'll be just going on trips and have like a hot wife and stuff. Well, that's guaranteed anyway, but
I think I just don't like being on my own more. So like, if you have a kid, you're always in.
Anyway, what?
Oh, nice. name dropped. When you eventually get married, you have to show her this.
Oh, cracking.
Yeah. I'm going to tell her,
I also don't really believe in marriage, so.
Episode 8. You said hot wife 4 seconds ago. Don't you backtrack on me now that I said that. Get fucked.
No. Like, hot wife as in like the same way Katie and Simon are wifed up, or Tom and Ashley are wifed up. They're wifed up, but they're not like none of them are going anywhere. But like they don't have a ring on their finger. They haven't spent 50 grand on a wedding. It's the only difference.
Some session though.
That'll be some session. But for 50 grand,
not paying for 50 grand. You get fucked.
Alright, okay, for 10 grand.
I'll give you sausage rolls in a hotel room and you can get fucked and we're going on the beer.
But right, for the cost of a wedding, you can have 2 proper sessions with all your mates, and you don't have to invite your parents to the session and all your like owl relatives to the session. So it's a session where you have to pay for it.
Think about it though.
Alright.
Transmission.
Alright, yeah, sorry about that. That was my roommates. They just interrupted.
They didn't even interrupt by accident. They interrupted on purpose. They were like, oh, I knew you were doing the podcast. Let's have another look.
Yeah, just wanted to see us doing our thing.
Snakes.
Which, to be fair, we're pretty great, so.
Yeah, fair.
We're talking about babies, probably.
Having a baby.
And then I said, like, hot wife, and then I may have said a name, and then you said, oh, believing in marriage and shit.
Yeah, like, I think it would be a good. Imagine, do you remember when you went to the science ball and wore a top hat? Imagine how classy you felt getting dolled up. Imagine getting like wedding dolled up. Then you imagine your woman that you're going to marry or whatever. Like, imagine how classy you must be in that full fucking dress or whatever going up there.
Fair.
It's a big day. Like, it's a big day out. That's it. That'd be the only reason I'd be like. It wouldn't be like to be married
Absolute
in church
dibs,
or something like that.
tie-dye bow tie.
Oh my god.
Dibs it. It's my favourite pattern, man. Has to be going on the bow tie.
Yeah, all day.
Or full tie-dye waistcoat. Like just, you know, the front panel of a waistcoat that literally goes like shoulders all the inside.
That would be so sway.
It would look so good. And then the inside lining of the top hat. Oh, tie-dye.
All around the edge of your monocle.
my shoes, tie-dye.
Tie-dye laces. Oh, that'd be so good. I better be invited.
Oh, absolutely, man. Best man. You and Moon, best peeps.
Yeah. Best man. She's just there in a full wet dress. She's just there like.
Nah, she has to wear a full suit, man. She's best man. She's wearing a best man suit, and both these are making speeches. And there's a slideshow reel of my Snapchat. These screenshots of my face.
I have some swag ones of that. We could play like clips from the podcast where you're like, I don't believe in marriage. Me and my hot wife is clips from this. It's absolutely mugged. But yeah, I want a baby. I'm gonna get like some stranger pregnant soon. That's the plan.
Why get a stranger pregnant? Just get the prettiest yes. Well, see, with a stranger you have to pay them. With a mate you can kind of convince them.
I don't have many female mates that would have a baby.
Let me think. Who could I convince to have a baby for me?
Probably Moon.
Absolutely not. Moon's not about that at all, man. If I was to inseminate her also, that'd be pretty weird.
No, that bit would be weird, obviously, but like, I don't know, turkey baster or something.
That's what it means, inseminator. Like,
I don't even like penis inseminator. Like,
no, artificial insemination. You just get a turkey baster, except you get like a medical turkey baster.
I think it was either Jeremy Kyle or Jerry Springer where someone used an actual turkey baster and it fucking worked.
Yeah.
Her gay mate just like jizzed into one of them and she was just like drop, done, I'm pregnant now.
And you know, she put like legs over her head.
Oh, she lay down on the couch like prop.
That's fucking gross. She got a funnel. Chop.
Oh,
that's gross.
How weird would it be? Because you have to do that like real quick. So he's in there just wanking off in one room, and she's there just bollock naked in the other room, just waiting to get turkey basted. Like, because you're not gonna wait around and be like, oh, he's not gonna jizz then put his clothes back on. And
why didn't he just get close and then?
Because then he'd be put off. He's gay as balls. He's not gonna see vagina and get an absolute softie. Like,
just put a bit of gay porn in front of him.
He knows there's a vanny there. Come on, he can sense it.
Senses it. Oh man, that's weird.
You're telling me if you were within a metre of a naked woman, even blindfolded and ear muffled, you wouldn't know. I have faith I'd know.
I'd be like, what's that, boy? What's that?
Yeah.
That's weird. Who's that?
That's a... Nah, no more that. We're right on time.
Oh, we were talking about the Beatles.
Yeah.
I came in with Making Grow Up and I just threw on the Beatles there. 8 days a week and then like a solid playlist of Beatles. Oh, those are class.
They're so good.
We were just like, we'd forgotten how many unreal tunes the Beatles had.
That's what they reminded me of, actually. I have a thing written down here that says Vlog Brothers. Do you ever watching their videos?
Yeah, Vlog Brothers, yeah. John Green and Hank.
Yeah, I watched one. It was I think it was Hank, and it was 5 biggest fails in history.
Mm-hmm.
Have a guess. Try and guess one, because I got one of them straight away.
What do you mean fails? As in like whole things or like individual moments people failed?
It's Vlog Brothers. It's more just kind of interesting stuff or whatever. Like, it's just something you would call a fail of history. I got one straight away. First thing popped in my head. The most historical fail of all time.
Yoko Ono. Historical fails like that one time that woman was like mashing grapes on live TV and fell off the back of it and she was like, oh my god, ow. No?
And you're not good at this game.
I got literally no idea.
Hitler going into Russia. I was like, he's winning the war. That was the most like. That was I went to the last obviously.
That's a Vlog Brothers style fail.
It's the well known. It's like the biggest thing. If he hadn't done that, he took over the world. He made one mistake, game over. Like,
yeah.
But another one of them was some bloke in a record company sees these 4 goons come in and he's like, nah, you'll never do any good. And about 5 months later, they sold 50 million records. Hashtag Beatles.
Oh, bummer.
Imagine your man that was like, nah, they have no future. They're shite.
Idiot.
Like, it was such a big fail. Imagine how much money they would have made off them.
But at the same time, you can't just accept everyone who walks in your door. And every band starts off absolute dog shite.
It was like within 6 months they had moved to America. Like,
okay.
They were like...
But still, like, I don't know, you can't really take a chance on everyone. And like, the amount of bands that he turned down that failed, people aren't going, oh, good thing you turned them down because they were so shit.
True. Well, how anyone whose job it is to evaluate bands looked at the Beatles and went, no.
Well, that's survivorship wise. You've seen the Beatles now. You know that they're class. You know them when they're...
True, like, we're mugging this bloke off and he could have been in the right at the time, but...
But he personally is sitting there being like, fuck.
Yeah, it's so bad.
He's sitting there in his house that's not worth 20 million and he could absolutely be living in a house worth 20 million.
Like, you just say you make one mistake and it's like, come. See, speaking of that, I was watching this thing and it was like about how if you were born a year earlier or a year later, you would have had totally different life because
Absolutely.
all your
Just
friends
the
were
school,
different.
the
Yeah.
cycle of school. Yeah.
But I was thinking, even more specifically, little decisions you make around school. It's like I decided not to do a transition year,
Yeah.
so I would have graduated a different year. I wouldn't have got into physics. Would have never met you. Any of you had I just even done the same course, but just done this transition year, and all of you done transition year.
Yeah.
If I had just been the same as that, I would have never met any.
Or I was gonna pick art in school for Leaving Cert, and I didn't. But I absolutely like that. Just little, even like smaller than pick a whole year. Just a subject that you do for like 1 year 8 or whatever that you do. And you pick that, and then instead of doing whatever the fuck did I do, whatever. But instead of doing that stuff,
Physics.
actually forgot what it. Oh, physics, chemistry, applied maths. Instead of doing chemistry, I probably would have chosen that. And then, like, being more arty, I could have easily been like, oh, like art, I'll go to NCD or something. It easily could have happened. Like, actually, I would have avoided this shit.
Yeah, I was thinking that the minute you said NCAD, I was like, you want to NCAD?
IAGT, maybe.
Yeah.
Or
Hashtag
like,
Jake's crazy lackey.
Man, I dodged a huge bullet with that lack. She's insane. Shout out to JM. She's insane.
I've never met her, so all I have is you saying she's insane. It could be 100% spoof from you. You could be insane.
No.
And she could be sound.
No. See, the thing is, I thought she was only marginally insane when I was going out with her. But, like, workable levels of insane. Women levels of insane.
But
You know what I mean?
no. There's women levels of insane. Then there's workable levels of insane. Then there's your workable levels of insane. And then there's too insane.
And I attract workable levels of insane. And around.
You attract borderline too insane. I'm gonna put myself in that list though.
In hindsight, though, that woman was fucking insane.
Past your levels.
Like, so you don't notice it when you're near her, and then you get away from her for a bit, and you're like, fuck, she's insane.
I mean, you've told me like one thing about her ever, and no, two things, and both times I was like, oh, he's lucky he watched that.
Yep. Anyway, once again, shout out to JM. Not John Martin.
You can give John Martin a shout out.
Yeah, but I'm not calling him crazy.
Have you seen him?
Alright, JM, you're pretty crazy as well, but
you're not trying to ride him. Well, we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Shout out to JM. Oh yeah. No, 58 minutes, pretty good time.
Yeah, we wrap it.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything.
I'm trying to think of a funny way to end it. What did you say? A transmission? That was weird.
On that note, on that shockingly poor note, we're out, man. See you next week, squad.
Bye, guys. Bye.